Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the ABC podcast. I'm your host Alex, and I am honored to be joined once again by my good friend Brandon.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe that we've already been at this for a month?
Has it really been a month?
I mean, at 5 episodes, we've done one a week.
We made it.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It actually hasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe because we don't consider this work.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's why. But
True.
let's see if we can keep this going for another month. Either that or we have a falling out. How rock bands always have falling out when they make it big. So
yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
I might end up making up my own podcast. Call it the the BC podcast. I don't know.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to call you a backstabbing traitor right now, and that'll be the end of it.
Oh, okay. Traitor. Like in Star Wars.
TR-8R.
Yeah. Actually, because of that, every time I say the word traitor, I'll find whatever is available to me, and I'll start twirling it like how he does with his baton, and I'll start chasing the person.
Oh my gosh.
I think I had it with my backpack, and those of you can't see, but my backpack is really, really big.
It's huge.
It's like my own house. I'm like a tortoise.
Yep.
And so I said traitor to somebody. I started twirling my backpack, and I almost knocked somebody over.
All right. Well, we've got kind of a lot to go over this week, and at the same time, not a lot to go over. So I don't know how long this one's going to go. But anyway, we, as usual, we have lots to go over from the last week. But before I get to that, I just need to throw this out there because I know that she'll be angry if I don't bring this up. I proposed to my girlfriend yesterday. It was pretty good, I guess.
Oh my gosh, did you just say it was pretty good?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's like saying, it was alright.
It was alright.
I mean, she said yes, but it was alright.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
She's gonna kill you.
I know that I give you a lot of crap, both on this podcast and in real life. But, yeah, you're beautiful and you're amazing and I love you and we're going to get married. So, yeah, but nobody cares about that.
That was so beautiful.
Nobody cares about that except
I'm literally crying right now. Not yet, but the tears are coming out.
Nobody cares about that except for her and I guess Brandon and I don't know who else listens.
Even though he didn't tell me he was doing it yesterday.
Oh my gosh, get over it.
Get over it? Okay, I'm sorry. Next time a big event happens in my life and I won't tell you.
Why would you do that to me?
You're damn right. Anyway, going off of that.
Yeah, so I just thought I would
You were taking
say
man
that. Yep. So anyway, let's get into it. And so I'm going to start with something that I usually do at the end of the show, which is ask for emails. Our email is abcpodcast92@gmail.com. And so, usually, like I said, we usually do that at the end, but based on what I know from our listeners who have told me so, most of them don't listen all the way to the end, so I don't think they know what our email is, and a lot of them probably don't follow me on Twitter. So yeah, you can email us comments, questions, concerns, things to talk about, whatever you want, to that email address. But specifically what I want to know is what you think about the music on our show. So I want to know, do you like the intro and outro music that we have now? Do you want me to change it up every week, or do you want me to keep it the same? Do you like the musical interludes that I've had to put in the last couple episodes due to interruptions? Yeah, so just let me know. This show is just as much about interacting with the audience as it is about Brandon and I just having our discussions that we would normally have otherwise.
It's quality time. What are you talking about? We have to spend time with each other. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we want to hear what you guys have to say. Yeah, so let us know.
Speaking of that, do you want to talk about what happened?
What happened?
About the email?
Oh, well, we'll get to that part at the
Okay, I
end.
didn't know if you wanted to go to the end or now.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is all you.
Okay.
This is all you.
All right. Little bit of a sneak preview. We got an actual listener question. We're both very excited. It's a good question too. So we'll get to that at the end though. So if you're interested in what our listener has to say, then you'll have to stick around to the end.
Forcing them to actually listen to the whole thing. I like it. It's like with a Marvel movie. You have to watch it even past the credits to watch it.
So true, so true. But let's go over some things from our last show, as is custom, because as you may or may not know, I listen to this show every week after it goes up on iTunes because I listen to a lot of podcasts and I'm a narcissist and I like to listen to what I have to say. So,
at least you're honest.
First things first, if you remember, we talked about a new comic that was announced called Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. And we were talking about what the Scooby-Doo gang calls themselves. We weren't sure. And we threw out Mystery Incorporated, which is actually their name. That is actually what they're officially called.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
They don't refer to themselves as such very often. But that's what it says on the Mystery Machine. I guess they have a company and they make money somehow.
I've actually wondered how did they survive? Like, do they just live out of the van, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what they don't show is them shaking down people for money after they bust the ghosts.
Maybe, true.
Or I mean, I don't know. Maybe they like find treasure in all the haunted mansions they go in.
I mean, whatever they do. Oh,
Or
how
maybe-
old are they?
That's a good question.
They're like teenagers. I know that much.
Yeah. Or maybe they just go around and they make money because of the fact they have a talking dog. I mean, if I had a talking dog, I would be like, hey, you want to see something cool? Give me $1. And then I would get Scooby to be like, ask them for a Scooby snack, and they would be freaking out.
I've always wanted to try a Scooby snack.
Me too.
They made it so delicious on that show.
There's like the fruit gummies. They have
Yeah.
Scooby snacks, but that's just
I know
not
it's
the
like,
same.
because I don't know, just
But-
whenever like I see them eat on the show, I always get hungry. Like kind of like in Dragon Ball Z, like you always watch Goku eat. I always get hungry.
But the only other person that eats Scooby snacks is Shaggy. So are they actually edible for humans, or does Shaggy just have a really low bar for what he'll eat?
Have you never tried dog food before?
No.
I personally haven't done this, but I know people who've done it. It's not incredibly tasty, but it's not terrible from what I've heard.
All right.
Not like canned dog food, but like the little treats.
Okay.
They've told me it's not terrible, so I mean, I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying, if you're ever just like really, really hungry and you're like really, really curious, just you do you, sucker.
All right. Well, that's Brandon's food advice for the week, I guess.
Chef Brandon.
All right. Next thing we got. So we were talking about the Rogue One trailer last week. And so the subtitle, the full title for the movie is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And so I said I was going to touch on that last week, and then we got so sidetracked by all of your clone trooper discussion that we never actually circled back around
You
to
made
that.
me say it.
No, I was interesting. I was just saying, like, I lost sight of what we were talking about. Anyway, so how do you feel about the subtitle, A Star Wars Story?
I was a little bit confused at first because I didn't really know why they would have to put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, and I'm just I can't
Hypothesizing.
Shut up. That it's either just to show that it is with the franchise, which I would assume anybody would know if they saw like the fawn and the stars. Either that, or it's just to tell the audience that it's part of the canon of the original storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my things. I don't really see. Maybe it's just like a little cool thing to put in.
Yeah.
But that's just my take on it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan personally. I think it just makes it unnecessarily lengthy. It just seems messy to me. It's like, have you ever seen The Social Network, the movie?
I actually haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, this was in the trailer, so you might know. Justin Timberlake, who's in the movie, plays the founder of Napster. So they originally had the website called The Facebook, and then he tells them to drop the. because he says it's cleaner. That's how I feel. I feel like if they dropped
might
the
s-
Star Wars story, it would just make
Yeah.
it seem. I mean, yeah, I know that they need to communicate to people. Hey, this is a Star Wars movie. If you like Star Wars, you're gonna want to watch this because it's gonna be cool. Because a lot of people like Star Wars, but they're not like us. They don't follow it on Twitter and they don't, read the extended universe and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they might not know, but I feel like there are better ways to communicate that than to just sticking that long subtitle onto the main title of the movie. But that's just me. Disney's marketing team probably isn't going to listen to me, but if you are, I'm looking for a job.
I don't know. I like it. It's catchy to me.
All right. Well, agree to disagree, I guess.
That's how most of my relationships are. Agree to disagree.
All right. So next up, we got. We were talking last week about Cloak and Dagger, and we were talking about a sitcom that Disney or Marvel or whatever has planned about the cleanup crew, the construction crew. We couldn't remember the name of said company.
Oh yeah, actually,
we thought it was the Wrecking Crew, which is that is in the Marvel comics, but they are a group of bad guys. That's like one guy's like a wrecking ball, another guy has like a crowbar. Yeah. So
yeah, actually, I found it out like I want to say like maybe 2 days after we did the podcast. I was like, dang it! And then like I found out the cleanup crew or the construction crew, whatever they're called, like. What's it called?
They're called Damage Control.
Damage Control. And then I actually, believe it or not, saw on Twitter. I was like, great. And we just messed up another thing on the podcast.
Well, that's why we have this segment, is to make us seem less stupid, I guess.
That's true. If there's one thing I've learned from communications, like you always have to go back and fix your mistakes.
Yeah, so what do you think about this potential Damage Crew? Based on what we know about the comics, because we don't really know much about the show.
I don't know how I feel like, because you said it might be a sitcom.
Yeah, I think that's what it's planned as.
I'm not sure how I feel about like a full-on sitcom. Like it was like a little web series. I'd totally be down for that because I don't know how much of a storyline you could make from something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has potential.
I think like it would be like a really, really popular and funny like web series if they did that, because like obviously they have to like deal with the consequences of the actions of the Marvel
right,
Cinematic
so
Universe.
you're thinking like 10-15-minute shorts as opposed to full 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
I think that, I see where you're coming from. I think that, a full sitcom is, there's more pitfalls there. There's more to lose just because of the way the TV industry works as opposed to a web short. But I think it could be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad that they're branching out of their genre comfort zones from these, like we have Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They're all really action and drama focused, and there's humorous parts every once in a while, but that's not the main point. So I'm glad that we're getting something that's going on the lighter side of this kind of thing.
And I think it shows that Marvel has done a really good job of like being in diversity, because I know they got a lot of crap of being like, being too lighthearted or being too funny or whatever. And then you have things like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, where there's not rarely, but the humor isn't as much as like you would say from an Avengers movie,
right?
So I don't know. I just like how there's so much diversity. It shows like Marvel is really well rounded.
Yeah, no, I agree. So next up, if you remember, we were talking about Daredevil. That was we had a nice long Daredevil discussion last week. That was fun times. And a couple things that I wanted to go over. So this probably will contain some spoilers, so you have been warned. I'll try and put some timestamps in the description again, in case you still haven't watched it. But the first thing I want to talk about was what we didn't talk about is Nobu and how he came back to life with zero explanation from season 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't mention Nobu, because I also feel like not only that, I felt like he was a really like good antagonist in the show too.
So Nobu, he's the ninja. He pseudo leads the Hand, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of,
he's both like Yakuza and Hand.
right. Yeah, so I guess he like has temporary control while they search for a Black Sky to take over. So he's a ninja. He totally messed up Daredevil in season 1. That was the most brutal scene
It
in
really
season
was.
1, and it was
like
really
how he was
cool.
dragging him by the chain with the blade.
I was
That
like,
ugh.
I had Mortal Kombat flashes when they were happening.
I know
when was
that actually,
happening.
yeah, that's what he reminded me of. He reminded me of a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah.
Because he just like kept throwing knives and
Yeah.
kept like flipping everything. He was a really, really cool guy.
Yeah.
But then like when he got burned alive,
Right.
I thought, okay, that was at least a cool way for him to die.
Uh-huh.
And
then he just shows back up.
yeah,
in
and I
season
was
2.
like, what?
My first thought when that happened was like, oh, the Lazarus Pit, and I was like, oh no, wait,
Mhm.
that's DC. Never mind. So yeah, they give zero explanation. Daredevil says like, wait, you're still alive, or I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
And then Nubu says there's no such thing, which is just like, okay, that's not an explanation. That
But it was
sounds cool,
I know,
but
right?
yeah. And so then,
And the thing is, like, there are like multiple moments, like, well, maybe not multiple, but there are a couple of moments throughout the rest of the series where like he'll experience like near death like
right.
actions, and he'll just like get up again.
Right, because after Daredevil finishes fighting him, he like knocks him off the building, and he falls to the ground, which would have normally killed someone because they were pretty high up. And he gets back up, but then Stick cuts half of his head off. And so, is that going to be the end of it? Is he a vamp? No, he can't be a vampire because vampires can be killed by fire too, I think. Or is that zombies? I don't know. Whatever. He's not a vampire. That would be a cop out, I think.
Maybe he's a Twilight vampire.
Oh my gosh. You're banned from this podcast for saying that. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of a plot hole. I wish they could have.
I see that, yeah.
They could have said something like, Doctor Strange brought me back to life. Spoilers for another segment we're having later on. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish they would have.
Because I don't feel like I don't know. Like, I don't feel like he's gonna come back in season 3. Do you think?
No, I doubt it. I feel like the Stick gave him the finishing blow.
Yeah. But maybe they'll talk about like why he was able to do that in season 3.
Maybe.
Because honestly, again, like, I have no idea what season 3 could even be about.
Well, so one thing that did occur to me is that they put Elektra in that pot thing. Yeah, the jar of dirt. She was clearly dead, but they thought that putting her in the giant vase would bring her back to life.
The giant vase.
I'm assuming they believe that will bring her back to life, and I'm assuming it will, because that would be a really...
Oh yeah, speaking of this, did they ever mention why they needed all that blood?
Maybe it was for that, because they knew she was going to die.
Because that was a lot of blood.
That was a lot of blood. Yeah, so, anyway...
What is the jar of dirt?
Do you think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe will cross over with the Pirates of the Caribbean Cinematic Universe?
You never know. Hey, it's Disney, man. Disney can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and then...
Just saying. But
and then Luke Skywalker will fly down in his X-Wing, and then we'll have a lightsaber and sword fight between him and Jack Sparrow.
And then Darth Sidious comes in and he tells him, like, I told you there's no such thing as death.
Oh, you mean, Supreme Commander Snoke?
He's Supreme Leader, I think.
Oh, Supreme Leader. Dang it, I messed up the joke. I apologize.
Okay, what's next?
Okay, anyway, so this is not really a spoiler. So you remember, actually, no, I'm about to make it a spoiler. Hey guys, editor Alex here. I was listening back to what I'm about to talk about, and I realized that without any context behind it, that it's not really a spoiler. So just disregard that little warning there and enjoy. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. You remember when Punisher goes after the Colonel guy? He drags him into that shed.
Yeah.
And he has like all those weapons and stuff in there. Next to the door, there was hanging up like a suit of like body armor, not a suit, like just body armor.
Yeah.
Did you notice what that looked like to you? Did it look like anything special to you?
Off the top of my head, I don't think so.
Okay, so it had so you won't be able to see what I'm motioning to Brandon, but anyway, it had two like ab plates like right here. Right, and then here it had like just a bunch of like slots, right, and so it looked like the Punisher's skull. Like if you like not immediately, but if you kind of like picture it in your head,
There's like a faint outline. You
yeah,
can see from
yeah. And so when that's because I knew that because I read somewhere on Twitter that Punisher gets his Punisher shirt, right? So that's what I thought they were gonna do. I thought he was gonna take it and paint it white so that it looked like the skull.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that would have been really awesome. But then he just went home and took a can of spray paint and a black T-shirt, and he somehow made the T-shirt that he ended up wearing.
Wait, he's not using the body? I thought he was using the body armor.
No, it was just a regular T-shirt. I'm pretty sure he might have been wearing the armor underneath his T-shirt, but it definitely looked like a T-shirt to me.
Let me look this up. You keep talking. Let me look it up real quick.
All right.
I'm not gonna watch the scene. Just like looking at his outfit.
Okay. Well, the next thing I have is about a potential Punisher spinoff, which we didn't cover last week. Which I feel first of all, they definitely set themselves up for one. It hasn't been announced to be in the works. Probably just because they have so many other Marvel Netflix shows coming up. But I think there's a very strong possibility that we will get a Punisher spinoff, and I certainly hope that we will, because I think it would just be awesome. It would be way different from Jessica Jones and from Daredevil, just because Frank Castle will he'll shoot a lot of people, which we won't see in any of the other shows, including Luke Cage or Iron Fist. So yeah, I think it could just be different enough with the same gritty attitude as the other two shows have, but it would be content and tone wise, it would be different enough that I think it could work. And also I want to see it because they didn't really do a lot with the Punisher in this season. We didn't see enough of the Punisher is what I'm trying to get at. And so I want him to get his own show where we can just get nonstop, brutal, violent, gun shooting, stabbing, ass kicking action.
You know, I think I actually like that they didn't show like too much Punisher in season 2 because it makes you want more of him.
That's true.
So
yeah,
I feel like
I can't argue with that.
I feel like that was a decision by the creative team just to like make you just like you want more of the Punisher.
Yeah, sure, why not? And if they had that, we're gonna get a Punisher show in the works in the back of their minds, then I'm totally fine with that. True. But if not, if they were just like, ooh, we're just gonna give you a little bit of Punisher in each season, but not that much, then I would be mad.
That's true.
So that's what I have to say about Punisher spinoff. Really hoping it comes. Honestly, I'd much rather have that than a Luke Cage show.
I don't know what to say to that because I haven't seen Jessica Jones, but I personally think I'm glad they're doing Luke Cage, mostly because like again he's like I feel he's more obscure than Punisher, so that gives him like more room and possibility to explore with.
Okay, yeah, that's true, but Luke Cage and Jessica Jones essentially have the same powers, and in the comic books at least they end up getting married and having a baby. So, you know, I feel like they could have just had the two of them on a show together. Like, they could still call it Jessica Jones, but it could be about both of them simultaneously. And then they would have, you know, quote-unquote, a slot to fill in. I know it doesn't really work that way because Netflix has different programming. Like, it goes about its programming different than a regular TV station, but... or TV network, but... Or
maybe it's just like spin-off of spin-off of spin-off.
That's the point that we're getting to. But, you know, I'm not complaining yet. Yeah. You know, if we get to the point where we're getting a new Netflix Marvel show every week coming out, then it might be a little ridiculous. But I don't think it'll ever get to that point.
We'll see.
No, I think there would be rioting in the streets, like even from us. Like, there's just only so much.
No, Marvel has us like under their thumb. Like, we will do anything for them. All hail Stan Lee.
Next thing I have. Oh, so more Daredevil talk, not spoiler this time. So last week we were joking about the Hand from Daredevil and the Foot Clan from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I did a little bit of research, and we were talking about how we weren't sure which one came first.
The hand or the foot?
Yeah.
The chicken or the egg?
Yeah, and so I did a little bit of research, and according to Wikipedia, so not not a superficial source, but the best I could come up with
It's
in
good
the
enough.
5 minutes that
Yeah.
I spent looking. The Hand was introduced in the Daredevil comic books in 1981, and the Foot Clan was introduced in 1984, specifically as a parody to the Hand.
Okay.
Yeah, so the TMNT comic book writers knew what they were doing. They were trying to be clever and called them the Foot. So I just thought that was a cool little Easter egg, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's a nice piece of trivia.
Yeah. There you go. So if you're ever on Jeopardy and you get that question, you can thank me with some money. Okay, more Daredevil stuff, and this is going to be more spoilers. So I'm sorry about that. You remember when I think it was in the first episode when he...
Oh, season 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. When he kills the Kitchen Irish when they're meeting, right? And then the cop afterwards, when they're investigating the scene, the one guy doesn't have a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then again when they're in the funeral home and the Irish mob boss picks up the guy and he's like, "We're gonna get my money back."
Mm-hmm.
They never explain what that's about.
About what?
About why Punisher cut off his hand.
Oh, the briefcase where the money was in, it was handcuffed. So and I'm only assuming that maybe like the guy, I don't understand why the guy would handcuff the briefcase himself or something like that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, dude, like after he's working in the van, you can see like the briefcase has a pair of handcuffs on it.
Oh.
And I don't know if this is entirely true because I don't know who would handcuff a briefcase themselves. Granted, it was like $1 million, but still, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a little bit confused though. Like, he was going all this trouble for $1 million. He's a mob boss. Like, that should be like chump change.
Yeah.
But it is $1 million. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Take what you can get.
All right. Well, that makes sense. I don't know. I guess I don't pick
I
up
could be
on,
wrong,
on
but I'm
visual
just,
clues. Or maybe I did notice it and then I just forgot about it. Anyway,
Do you think the guy's name, like, when they buried him, they called him Stumpy because he has no more hand?
Sure, why not? Anyway, so I think that's all the Daredevil talk I have.
You sure?
Unless you want to keep going.
Look at your list one more time.
No, that's all Daredevil talk. Unless you have something else you want to say.
No, I think we've given him a good amount of Daredevil.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay, so got 2 more old things to cover. So
jeez.
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I know, right? So last week we talked about the movie A Wacko's Wish.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be a Wacko's Wish spoiler. Well, I spoiled it last time. But anyway, so last week I said that when Wacko made his wish, he wished for 2 pence, which are British pennies. That is incorrect. He actually wished for 2 hay pennies. Now, a hay penny, so it's not spelled the way you think it is. It's HA apostrophe. So it's like a weird way of saying a half penny.
Mm-hmm.
They pronounce it hay penny because they're British, I guess. I don't know. They call it a hay penny, but it's not made of hay. It has nothing to do with hay. It's a half penny. I'm going to call it a half penny because that's what it should be. Anyway, but in the Animaniac, or at least in the movie universe that it's set in, because it's not tied to the cartoons, whatever. Anyway,
I think Marvel was really destroyed, like the whole like movie universe and then TV universe and another universe.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. But in that movie, so they sing a song after he gets his money, and they're talking about how 1/2 penny is worth like a year's salary or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, right? So their economy is clearly worse than ours.
Worse or better?
Worse. That's worse.
I don't know. You can buy so much with just that. I'm like, hey.
Anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to clear up the record on that.
Oh my gosh.
And then also, so Brandon was talking about the squirrels who went to go see the movie, and he couldn't remember the name. The old squirrel is named Slappy Squirrel.
Okay, yeah, because like we said Sandy, and I was while I was talking about it, I was like, isn't that the squirrel from SpongeBob?
Yeah, I was so surprised when you didn't get that joke. And
yeah,
then
it was Slappy.
the little squirrel was named Skippy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot everything.
Yeah. Oh, so I when I was looking all this up, I went and I watched the song, and then after I watched that song, I went back and watched the Animaniacs theme song.
Yeah.
So good, man.
I know,
I got
right?
hit with so many nostalgic emotions when I watched that. I was like, oh man, and it's on Netflix now.
Yeah, I know. I'm so happy about
Yeah,
that.
I want to go back and watch it, but I say that about pretty much
Everything.
everything.
Just like your games.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of games, last thing I have on my list. I was talking about The Amazing Spider-Man last week, and I was talking about how I was skipping through all the story, and then I got sidetracked somehow. Go figure. And I forgot what I was talking about. And so what I was going to say, just really quickly, was that I'm skipping through all the story, even though it's good, because I watched it already, or because I've seen it already, because I've already played the game. I'm just skipping through it all. And so the story isn't the main focus for me. I'm focused on the gameplay. And so feel like I'm noticing a lot more of the things that are not so great about the gameplay. Because, before it was like, oh, I'm taking the story and it's, I'm weighing that into my opinion on the game. Now that I don't have the story to bolster my opinion of it, I'm noticing more of the flaws with it. Still having a ton of fun. Played a few more hours of it this week, not a ton. But yeah, I'm having a blast. Hoping to get through that soon-ish. And yeah, that's all I have to say about the Amazing Spider-Man video game for Wii U. And that transitions us into our next topic, a new topic for once, only 32 minutes after we started recording.
I think we need to do a better job of like exploring our facts beforehand.
Nah.
No, actually, yeah, you're right. I like this segment.
Anyway, so our new thing that we're going to talk about is Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's right.
Newly announced title of the new reboot movie
kind of thingy.
What are your thoughts about a Homecoming?
First of all, I have to admit, I chuckled when I saw the word homecoming. I was like, yo, Marvel is a savage.
Why?
Because it's like a homecoming, like he's coming back home.
Okay.
And I was like,
oh,
yeah.
I didn't even think about
Really?
that. Yeah.
I just
oh,
like,
man.
I thought like, wow, Marvel has like no chill whatsoever. But I was like, kudos to them, man. You know what I like about it? Like how the font of the title is like reminiscent of like the old animated series.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I don't know. It's just, I'm very excited to see what Marvel's going to do.
Okay.
Now, I am having very high hopes, and I hope this doesn't turn into another reboot, and after Marvel does it, they have to reboot it again. I feel like Spider-Man's been getting the short end of the stick on that, but I have faith in Marvel, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do.
All right. So my thoughts on the title, not a fan.
Yeah.
Now that Brandon brought up the double entendre meaning, I have a little bit more respect for it, but still not really. That sounds really cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts on it being a reboot, kind of twofold, back and forth. So Homecoming makes me think that he's going to be younger. Because when I think Homecoming, I think homecoming football game, homecoming dance.
Okay, before you go into that, did you ever go to homecomings at school?
I went to 2 of the football games my freshman year and my senior year. Didn't go to the dances.
I went to one dance my freshman year.
Did you have a date?
No.
Oh, okay.
It sucked.
Okay.
Not having a date, just like.
I'm not surprised.
What is that supposed to mean?
Because school dances suck.
Oh,
Prom
no, it's
sucks.
not about me like not having a date. Like, what are you trying to say?
No.
Just because you got engaged, now all of a sudden you hot stuff.
Oh my gosh. Brandon's had more girlfriends than I have, I think. So
I've had. That's a story for another time. Don't worry about that. Continue.
Anyway, so when I think homecoming, I think homecoming football, homecoming dance, and that means high school. And so Peter Parker graduated from high school in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, so if he's still in high school in this one, that means it's going to be a reboot, and that means we get to see Uncle Ben get killed yet again. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. On the other hand,
how many times do we gotta watch this happen to Uncle Ben? We know what happens. Just to get it over with already.
Yeah.
Just like talk about it off screen. Don't show it happening. It's too painful.
Yeah. On the other hand, Homecoming could not mean that. Honestly, it could mean, I don't know, he moved away from New York for a few years and now he's coming back to fight the Rhino.
If he moved away, doesn't technically he's somebody else's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man then?
Yeah, why not?
I'm just saying.
What if he like moved to like
Kentucky.
Ontario?
Oh yeah, Ontario. I said Kentucky was the first thing that came to my mind. Because like this like it's so totally different than New York. He doesn't have like skyscrapers to swing off of. He can go off of trees. He'll be like an actual spider living in the tree.
Anyway, yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming. We'll see how it is. It comes out next year.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot sooner than I would have expected. I hope they didn't bump any other projects back to get it in that time slot.
I know one movie got bumped back. I think Black Panther got pushed back a little bit for Spider-Man.
So yeah, I would much rather have a Black Panther movie than a Spider-Man movie. Yeah. But I don't know.
We'll see. Marvel so far has been doing pretty good with scheduling.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe one might say too good.
Yeah, that's true. Like the Deadpool movie, I was very surprised at how fast that was.
Well, that was a Marvel.
Yeah, but like still, you know what I'm trying to say though? It's
yeah.
Like, it was done really, really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean,
I think we're so dumb. Or we have like some impediments in our speech.
Anyway, next thing is, have you heard about these rumors about a live-action Pokemon movie?
I have, actually.
All right, so in case the listeners out there, you haven't heard, news story been going around that several production studios are bidding to make a live-action Pokemon movie. This news story came out, I think it was like yesterday or Thursday.
It's very recent.
Yeah. So again, like a lot of things we cover on here, we don't have much to say. We don't have much to go off of. But I have a lot to say. But I'll let Brandon go first.
Okay, I go first, or me go first. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I feel very split and conflicted because part of me wants to see that, and I want to see the Pokemon come to life because the human characters. They're great, but like you know what I'm just saying. Any human can play them.
Okay.
Seeing a Pokemon in real life, that's
IRL.
gonna be yes, that would be amazing. But at the same time, like, do you really want to see that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, because like that's the other part that's like fighting me. It's like, dude, I don't know. It's just gonna ruin the magic that's Pokemon. Because I don't know, why is this a thing?
Oh, trying to take all these animated things and make them real life.
Like, because I know, like, just like recently, the Jungle Book movie came out, and it was like live action.
Yeah.
Which actually looks really good.
Live action
in a studio.
Right.
But it's not animated.
Whoa.
Shut up! I know it's computer generated. Okay.
All right. I'm just trying to draw a distinction here.
But for Pokemon though, I mean, I don't know. And also, there's also the thing like, does anime ever translate good into like live action? And I think for the most part, it's no.
I can tell you unequivocally the answer is no.
Did you ever see the Attack on Titan movies?
No, I haven't.
I haven't heard anything about them, so I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't either. But I know that Dragon Ball Evolution...
Okay, first of all, that was an American company that did that.
What's the difference? We don't know that this is going to be Japanese, the Pokemon movie.
You never know that. Anyways, that's just my spiel. I'm very conflicted. For the most part, I'm leaning towards no, I do not want to see that. There's no reason behind it.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super opposed to this. I can't envision any scenario where this turns out well for anyone involved. For as far as plot goes, I'm predicting one of two things. Either A, we have Ash Ketchum with his Pikachu and he goes to fight Team Rocket. Or B, which I think would make for a more interesting movie, is Pokemon show up in the real world and like we have to deal with that. And you can just imagine like a Tyranitar like coming like on the highway and just like blowing up cars and like hyper beam and like City Hall is destroyed.
Okay,
just,
Michael
like,
Bay, chill out.
Yeah, I just think that would be more interesting. But why does that have to be live action?
Why does that have to be a thing? I think it's just.
I think that for the second scenario, that it not only would make a good movie, but it would be much more suited to an animated format than a live action format. Now, for a movie with Ash, I mean, we already have like 18 or 19 Pokemon movies
That's true.
animated. So
Which
if that is what they were going to do, and honestly, it probably would be, then yeah, if they wanted to do something new, then it would be a live action. And that just, these new Pokemon Go commercials, the Detective Pikachu commercial, they look weird. Yes, like our technology has progressed to a point where computer generated things look realistic, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that. Put everything in real life. Like, just leave Pokemon on.
Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Sure. Yeah. Just. I just.
If you can see his expression, he looks like so like.
I'm at a loss for words.
Just like defeated and like upset right now.
Yeah. Anyway.
Shake my head.
SMH.
Yep.
Okay.
Gosh, you really are a millennial.
I use a lot of texting lingo in my vocabulary because it makes things
You sound like a California Valley girl.
It makes things shorter to say, and
oh my
it
gosh,
aggravates people, and I like aggravating people.
High five, me too.
Anyway, we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with more stuff to talk about. I feel like having these musical interludes just makes it easier to break up the podcast, because a lot of people have been telling me that they like listening to it, but it's too long. So I feel like breaking it up like this might help alleviate that. Yeah. But you can let me know by emailing us at abcpodcast@92@gmail.com. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, enjoy whatever music I decide to play, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So we've got a little bit to cover. This is going to be our trailer extravaganza, because we've got 5 movie trailers that came out in the last week, which is kind of weird. I feel like they're just like all like stockpiled up, like all to come out in this one week. It's just kind of.
But we are approaching May. I know, like, May is like the time when all the movies, both movies and trailers, come out.
Very true, very true. So anyway, we got 5 trailers to talk about, and Brandon said that he wants to talk about Suicide Squad. So Brandon, go ahead, tell us what you thought.
Okay, before I do, I want to let you know I still haven't seen Batman vs Superman. It was a long week, just saying. But Suicide Squad.
SMH.
Shut up. So Suicide Squad. The trailer that we just watched right now, I want to say the word excited, but I know there's another word on the tip of my tongue. I don't know what it is, but let's go for excited for now. So I like how it's bringing a new kind of perspective to the format, because we're going from the role of the villains and the protagonist roles, and they're all bad guys,
right?
And not just bad guys. They're like bad guys. You have Killer Croc, you have Deadshot, you have Harley Quinn, people who do a lot of death.
So not anti-heroes, like villains. Yeah.
Well, Deadshot sometimes is anti-hero.
Okay, but I don't...
For the most part, he's a villain, yeah. And I don't know, you're going to have to help me out with this. Are the visual effects similar to Dawn of Justice?
Yeah, I would say so.
So visually it's pretty similar to it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks good. Visually, it does look good.
Yeah.
Still not 100% about what the story is. I can maybe like put bits and pieces together. Because I know like they're probably hunting the Joker or something like that. But I like how like so far it hasn't said a lot about the story. It's shown you some clips and action scenes, but I have a feeling that it's not everything.
See, that's not the vibe that I'm getting. I think that could be it. If it was, I wouldn't be super surprised. But I think that whatever mission they're on in this abandoned city or whatever it is, wherever it is they are, I think that the Joker is trying to get the same thing that they were sent in to try and get. That's my prediction. Did you have anything else to say, or did you want me to go?
I think I have one more thing I wanted to say. I think it was mentioning just about Batman comes into the trailer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna make a cameo in the film, which it makes sense.
Yeah,
if the Joker's in there, it
does.
Makes sense.
So I counted 3 times that Batman showed up in that last trailer. But it looked like all the same scene to me.
So it doesn't look like he's gonna be in there for very long.
Yeah,
which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, and it also. So there was a very brief glimpse of Batman's face, and it was kind of blacked out, so it wasn't hard. It was hard to see. It didn't look like Ben Affleck to me, though. If there was some kind of weird like Batman but not Batman thing, like that would be interesting. Yeah, I have this gut feeling that that Ben Affleck isn't going to be in this movie. That it's going to be Batman, but at the same time not Batman.
Just like a stand-in actor.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I think overall this movie is going to be. I think it'll be good. It'll be alright. It's a new experiment, so yeah. I have maybe I'll give a 75% chance of hope to this movie.
All right, yeah, it is a new experiment. I definitely agree with that, but I'm not sure this is the movie to try and do that. So they are definitely going for this lighter tone, this jokey kind of like whimsical tone.
Which is weird because it's with the Suicide Squad.
Right, it is weird, but I think probably part of the reason they're doing that is because they're putting heavy emphasis on Harley Quinn and Joker. I fully expect to get a Harley Quinn and Joker solo movie sometime in the future, and that would be a great time to do, this kind of off-the-wall, almost comedy action style movie. But the Suicide Squad is so serious that I'm not sure this whimsical tone that they're going for is really the way to go. I mean, yeah, they have Batman vs Superman, which is super dark and gritty and Zack Snyder-esque. And that's fine. It would be weird. It would be weird if we had a whimsical Batman versus Batman and Superman movie. This isn't Super Friends days. This is 2016, where everything has to be dark and gory. But yeah, they can't just have all of their movies be that same carbon copy kind of attitude. But the Suicide Squad is not something that's known to be like just weird and wacky and crazy. They could have like a Plastic Man movie that was just like all kinds of jokes. Like that would be awesome. That would be like, so cool.
Rubber Band Man from Static Shock.
Yeah, they're the last.
Plastic Man, no, right? But do you remember from Static Shock?
No, yeah.
Rubber Band Man.
Yeah, Rubber Band Man.
And how he couldn't read.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, if they just did weird things like that, that would be cool. So, yeah, that's kind of my gripe, is that the Suicide Squad is not something that when I think of DC's, weird and quirky characters, that's not what comes to mind. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just hung up on these, what I think of as what should be in the movies based on the comic books. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need to be more open-minded, but that's the way I feel, and until the movie comes out and disproves me otherwise, that's the way I'm going to keep feeling about it. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about Suicide Squad. It's coming up soon. It comes out in August. I know the trailer didn't have a date. There probably is a release date, and I just don't know it off the top of my head. But yeah, just a couple months away.
He's well to wait and see.
Yep. Maybe Brandon will actually watch that movie so we can talk about it.
Shut up. With my luck, I don't know, I have very bad luck with movies. Like, do you remember when it was the summer when the Avengers came out and The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
During the entire summer, I never had a chance to go watch it. Worst summer of my life. Darkest period of my life. And I was ashamed as a comic book fan and nerd. Like, I should have given myself a thrashing for like, as punishment.
Hey, the night is always darkest before the dawn.
Shut up!
Alright, I'll pick next, and...
Me pick next?
Yeah, me pick next.
It should be a thing, like, we just, like, speaking broken English.
Okay, why not?
Whatever. So, what's the next pick?
Yeah, let's go with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh, good choice.
So, Brandon and I are both really big Harry Potter fans.
Yes,
I grew up on the books. I'm not so hot on the movies, but...
Are you serious?
Not a fan.
What?
The books are just such masterpieces, and the movies, they try to do the best job they can to stick to it, and it just... I know, like, in my head, like, I know why... Like, they just can't do a straight adaptation of the books because they're so long and they're so full of just so many things that are interesting but not strictly plot relevant. And I know that doesn't make for a good movie, but I just love the book so much that I have to disconnect them as being related to each other. As far as movies go, they're pretty good movies. But I'm pretty sure... the sixth, seventh, and eighth movies, I'm pretty sure I've only seen once when they were in theaters.
I am going to punch him in the face right now. And I just... it's again with the internal conflict. Like, I hate that you say that, but at the same time, I can't help but agree because I love the book so much. Like, I've read each of the Harry Potter books at least 6 times
Me too.
in my life. You're right, because they're masterpieces. But I love the movie so much because they did, like, if you ever hear people talk about, they bring a book to life onto the silver screen, I feel like this series and The Lord of the Rings are the best examples of that, of bringing a fantasy world to life and actually living in it. And also,
what about Aragon?
I'll be honest. I only saw the movie. I never read the book.
Oh man, I read the books. I never watched the movie.
When I saw it, I was like, "This is interesting enough." But I was like, "What is the point? Like, where did the dragon come from? Why are they fighting? Why is this movie so fast? I don't get anything." I literally sat in that theater and did not understand a thing about that movie, except for the dragon, and that there was what's his name, Digimon Hansu. He was the guy who was in Guardians of the Galaxy who hunted.
Okay.
You know that guy.
Yeah.
Who plays he always gets cast as like this warlord black guy or something. But
look at me.
He's not. He's not that guy.
I am the captain now.
Anyways, but just it breaks my heart to hear you say that. But at the same time, I cannot disagree with you. It's so complicated because for me, I grew up with both the movies and the books, and like,
oh, you youngling,
I couldn't do it. And like, I was in 6th grade, I was in the Harry Potter club with your sister.
No, wait. Okay, I know my sister has a picture of her in that. Yeah, are you in that picture?
I'm in that.
Oh my gosh, I gotta go home and find that picture.
I'm wearing a Dementor costume.
Oh,
very shameful period of my life, and believe it or not, I still have that Dementor costume.
Oh, of course.
I have that.
Wait, does it still fit? Like, you have to be at least a couple feet taller.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if it. I would not be surprised if it just fit me. My swim jacket I got from 8th grade still fits me.
My wrestling jacket from 8th grade still fits me.
Nice.
So.
Okay, so
Yeah, we got way off
I know. Okay, you are a fan of book, not movie. I'm a fan of both movie and book.
Yeah, so now you know where we're coming from when we talk about the trailer.
I'm just a little hurt right now. I'm a little bit heartbroken.
Look, I don't hate the movies. You know, if you told me like, let's go sit down and watch let's go watch Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince right now,
gosh.
I'd probably say, okay, sure, why not? But you know, that's not something. There's just something missing from them that just keep me from connecting with them on the same level.
Okay, so if that's the case, then have you read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
Yeah, I have. Have you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, awesome.
And it's like, this is nothing like the book.
Yeah, that's one of my main issues with it.
Okay, you go first.
Actually, that's pretty much my main issue with it.
You go first then.
Okay, so if you don't know, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is one of the textbooks that the kids read in Hogwarts. And J.K. Rowling actually wrote a textbook style book.
Like a guide. Almost.
Right, and so it just has like a bunch of magical beasts with little descriptions about them, like kind of backstories and like ways to like defeat them, kind of just stuff like that.
It's also really interesting to read.
Yeah, it really is, and also they're kind of funny because it's like the way she wrote it is that it's Harry's book that he lent to Ron, and then Ron like drew scribbles and like took notes in the margins of the book. So there's like funny little like comments,
and then Hermione like somehow gets into it too. So it's really really funny stuff.
Yeah, so that's what the actual book is, and this movie has nothing to do with it. So the textbook is, you know, in the fictional universe, is written by a guy named Newt Scamander. Newt Scamander. Who's a magical author.
Sorry, he's giving me this really weird look because I'm sitting in my chair weird.
Yeah, and so the movie is about the guy who wrote the book, and so I'm guessing that I bet the ending shot of the movie is him sitting down to like write this manuscript of his textbook.
Oh, like Lemony Snicket?
Does that happen in the Series of Unfortunate Event movie?
Yeah, kind of.
It's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember.
Yeah. But okay, so
anyway, so he, in the trailer, he goes to New York. He has this briefcase with some kind of creature inside of it.
Do you know what the time period is? It's like the early 1900s.
It looks 1940s to me. I'm not a historian, so I have not a lot of don't have anything to back that up to me, but it's somewhere in that time period, it looks like. So yeah, he's in New York. There's a fat guy with him who doesn't say anything. There's an American version of Diagon Alley, and so that is something that I'm looking forward to. Is to this American take on the magical world. That's pretty cool, I think. Other than that, it just looks like a Harry Potter cash grab to me. Because there's no source text to back it up. Now, you could make the argument that, Hollywood is being creative. You know, they're not just adapting some other Harry Potter text to make into a movie, which, you know, there's not a lot out there to draw from, but I'm sure they could do something. But, you know, this is a completely made up story. And I don't know. Do you know if J.K. Rowling was involved in?
She is involved in it.
She is, okay. In the writing or the production?
I think production, but I know like a lot of times this is with the original films that she was very involved with. So maybe not so much
okaying the scripts and stuff.
Yeah, so like making sure some things were okay. And I know it's like it seems odd because like this is her source material and they're making changes.
Right.
She probably had to get like persuaded to do some stuff, but I know like with her work she's very involved with. Like she's on Twitter, like she's like talking about it.
Okay. I don't follow her on Twitter, so maybe I should.
You bastard.
Anyway, my interest is piqued. I don't know if I'll go see it in theaters, honestly.
Okay.
If do you know when it comes out?
Yeah, it comes out November 18th.
Okay. If my sister is in town when that happens, I'm sure she'll drag me to go see it. And, you know, that'll be fine with me. Otherwise, you know, I might just wait for it to come out on Redbox just because I'm not super looking forward to it. Granted, my opinion could change between now and then, but that's how I'm feeling about the movie. But I've talked about it for long enough. Brandon, why don't you hit us with what you think?
Okay, so for me, it was kind of like with Rogue One. I was kind of cautious going to it because I'm like, okay, they're giving us another one, and
so let me interrupt really quickly. When did the last Harry Potter movie come out? That was several years ago.
That's true, but I mean,
so it's not like it's not like back-to-back movies.
Yeah, it's not back-to-back movie, but it's like the story had been completed at that point.
Right. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with Harry Potter.
Yeah, yes and no.
I mean, it's the Harry Potter universe, but Harry Potter the character, Voldemort's probably not even.
He's not even
right. He's probably not even alive. But when this movie takes place, did you ever find out time period?
Oh yeah, it's 1926.
Oh, okay, I was way off then.
So, anyways, for me, I was cautious about it, but I was excited because I had read the book originally, and I don't know, seeing that first trailer, I guess I'm just a sucker for feelings. So when I saw it, like, so many feels came back, and then when the main theme song came back, I just, oh my gosh, so much nostalgia, because when you look at it, it's actually very, very like well produced and like shot. So far,
of course
it is. I'm just saying so far. Now I don't know about storyline. I like the storyline so far of what it is because the guy, his name is what's his name? Newt Scamander.
Yeah, that's what we said.
I love his name, and he's apparently right here. It says he's a magizoologist. Okay. So cool.
But he didn't graduate from Hogwarts.
Yeah, so I think that makes for a very interesting backstory for him because he got expelled from Hogwarts because of
Hagrid.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Oh man, what if this is the person Hagrid could have been, but he never did?
If Hagrid was smart.
Hagrid's
exactly.
Anyways, so for me, I like it also because you expand more from not more, but you expand further into the universe of Harry Potter,
right?
Because the Harry Potter movies, they did a great job of exploring the Wizarding world. So you got Hogwarts, you got Diagon Alley, you got some other parts too, but because, obviously they go to school, a lot of it is spent in Hogwarts.
Right.
Here you going, also it's taking place in America too,
right.
Not in England.
Right.
So that's that part I was very surprised about, but I was like, this is cool because it shows you that the Wizarding world is international.
Right. Yeah, so I had this computer game back in the day. It was the Quidditch World Cup.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so that was a really fun game. I could probably talk about that more another day, but I'll just say really quickly, like that. Before that, they're in the books. They kind of make references to like, well, so you have what's the other school? There's Durmstrang, which is in Bulgaria. Whatever.
Is that the one with the girls or the guys?
That's the guys.
That's the guys.
Well, it's not all guys. It is in the movie, but not in the books.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, there's Durmstrang, and they're somewhere in like Eastern Europe, and then there's the French one that I'm totally drawing a blank on their name now. So I know it starts with an L.
The Boubatons or Beaubatons.
Yeah. Did you just say boob?
No.
Okay, it didn't start with an L. I don't know why I thought that.
But yeah, it's in France.
Yeah, so there's those two. So like they have that kind of, they say that there's other things, and in the fourth book when they go to the Quidditch World Cup, like it's obviously an international event. I'm pretty sure they make reference to American wizards and stuff like that, but those are just like kind of passing mentions. Yeah. Really, you're in this very British centric mindset when you're reading the books and watching the movies because they never leave England. But the Quidditch World Cup video game, that really kind of made me think about like, oh man, yeah, like of course there would be wizards in other parts of the world, and they would have their own Quidditch teams and their own magical schools and all that kind of stuff. So I just, yeah, this movie is doing that kind of thing, just broadening up the wizarding world to audiences when you subconsciously think about it, but not, you're not actively thinking about the American equivalent of Diagon Alley.
And also, I also read about somewhere that they have like an American word for Muggle, because apparently Muggle is specifically for England and the United Kingdom. Here in America, they have another word for non-magical people.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, so like what I like about it is like there's so much, there's like that kind of detail into all this stuff. It shows like how much attention they're giving it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know. Again, I'm a big sucker for Harry Potter. I have a wand. currently I'm trying to buy a Hogwarts uniform. I'm trying to buy the sweater and the pin and the tie, and I just want. There's a couple of days a week. I just want to like go dressed up as a Hogwarts like student.
Blimey.
Bloody hell. Anyways, I have really high hopes for this movie. I'm very, very excited for it. And I will probably go at the midnight premiere by the time hopefully I get my Hogwarts uniform at that time. And I will go and with my glasses and I will draw a scar on my forehead. Or
Harry Potter's not in this movie.
Shut up, okay? It's still connected. You cannot have the Wizarding World without Harry Potter.
Yes, you can. You clearly can, because this movie takes place way before Harry Potter was even a twinkle in Lily Potter's eye.
You have your mother's eyes.
Oh my god.
Or maybe I'll go dressed as Voldemort. I don't know.
Yes, you should do that.
I'll
That would be
free
much
people
better.
out.
Or dig up that Dementor costume.
Oh yeah. And I'll be slurping through the hole. But yes, I'm very excited for Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'm not totally down on this movie. I think there's a lot more time to come out, and there's going to be at least one more trailer, I'm sure, and we might actually find out what the plot of the movie is, because right now we don't know anything other than he comes to America, and I'm sure whatever critter is in his briefcase gets loose somehow, and he has to track it down, which is why the where to find them part of the title comes in. But anyway, we'll see about that. So I guess we can move on.
Okay, what's the next one?
You want to talk about Doctor Strange?
Yes, please. Let's talk.
Okay.
More magic.
More magic.
More magic.
All right, the Doctor Strange trailer. Doctor Strange. I'm looking forward to this movie, like, a lot. It's a Marvel movie, and I like all of the Marvel movies. Yeah, I know I'm a fanboy. I'm okay with it, so you should be okay with it too. Anyway, yeah, but I'm looking forward to this movie because out of all of the characters that have had movies so far, like have had movies specifically about them, I know the least about Doctor Strange. I know that he's a super powerful wizard. I know that he has a Sanctum Sanctorum. I know he has a wicked mustache. I know kind of his backstory, which they show in the trailer. And I know he fights Dormammu. That's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty much all I know about Doctor Strange. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where they take this, and how it develops. The trailer... Honestly, the trailer didn't do a lot for me. Like, it left me with more questions than answers just about what the movie's gonna be like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm pretty much the same way too. I was very excited when I heard Benedict Cumberbatch was gonna be
yeah,
because if you know him, he's also a very big nerd. Like, he wants, like, I forgot which interview he was in, but he said he wants to be in a Star Wars movie. He said he would be a lightsaber if he could just be, and like he was just making like lightsaber noises, like he was like whoa, whoa. But he's an amazing actor.
Yeah, definitely.
He has like his foot in Sherlock.
Yep.
He had his foot in Star Trek.
Yep.
I heard he was like the highlight of that movie.
Yeah.
In Star Trek. He was.
Wait, you didn't see it?
No.
Oh my.
This should not be a surprise to you at this point.
But it still is.
I saw the first one.
Okay, that's fine.
I
like that one better.
What else? He was Smaug in The Hobbit.
Yep.
Awesome performance. I
didn't see it.
Shut up. He was probably. I think he's the best like movie dragon to date.
What about?
Are we gonna say the guy from Dragonheart or whatever his name is?
What?
You don't know the movie with Sean Connery?
Dragonheart.
I don't know if it's called Dragonheart. It's something about it, but Sean Connery voices a dragon.
Oh, okay.
Or are you gonna say Aragorn again? I swear.
I thought about it, but I haven't seen it. So
Damn
I don't know. Yeah, sure. Best dragon movie. You heard it here. Our official recommendation.
Anyways, so first off, I was very excited. Cumberbatch was going to be Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Because he can pull off almost anything.
No, I thought that was a fantastic casting.
Yes. So that's it. When I heard also like there's some changes of the character, like the ancient one was going to be female. Well, female-ish. She looks both like in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then Baron Mordo, he's in the movie too.
Okay.
And he's played Again, goes back into how we were talking about, like the race changes, because he's black in the movie, and he's like, I don't even know if he has a race in the comics, but he's not black in the comics. But I didn't care because the guy is a very good actor. So I am just beyond stoked for this movie, and visually, like I kind of agree with Alex. Like it left me with a lot more questions, but it was a teaser trailer, so I think it did its job in teasing what was to come. And the trailer, it was very intriguing visually. Our friend Eugene Burnaby on Facebook, he called it a mixture of Inception and Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series.
I totally agree with that. My favorite part in the trailer is when she like hits him and like his spirit like flies out, and he's like, "What the hell is happening?"
And he's going through, and like all the rooms are shifting, and like the city like bends in on itself. And
that was awesome. And
I like the
last scene where he's like walking up the stairs
with the cape on.
Yeah, that. Oh man, that I'm really. Yeah.
Now I haven't memorized his stories, but he has a huge amount of adventures he goes on.
Yeah.
That goes into like the other worlds of the mysticism, and his stuff is just so rich. And because like I like this because we're going to a much more like magical, mystical part of Marvel.
Yeah.
Which technically Thor should have done, and it kind of does touch about. What I see with Thor is it still has magic. It's kind of like Adventure Time, like when they fuse magic and science together.
Yeah,
that's how I see. That's how I see Thor. Asgard is basically the land of Ooh. But Doctor Strange, I am very, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Do we know who the bad guy is in this movie?
No, I'm not sure. I think in this one, I'm only assuming it's not Baron Mordo, because I think in this one, him and Doctor Strange team up. I think that's the way in the comics they were like originally like allies or associates, and then Mordo turns bad.
Okay, yeah. So the only villain I know from Doctor Strange's little corner of the Marvel universe is Dormammu. Dormammu is this huge guy. His head is on fire. He's like a demon, and he like controls some other realm. I think it's like the I forget what it's called. Anyway, he's a big bad in the Marvel universe. He's like almost on par with Thanos, I would say. Maybe not quite as powerful, but he's definitely someone to be reckoned with.
I also feel like that too. Like Doctor Strange, like he does a lot of behind the scenes things because he's constantly saving they're all saving the world from that, but because he's dealing with like a lot of like spiritual stuff, he has to deal with like all of these spirits like coming out and destroying the world, and like a lot of people don't really know that about him. He's just like, for him, it doesn't like even matter. It's just like, oh, gotta get up and stop this other demon from taking over the universe and destroying mankind. But just another day in the life of Doctor Strange.
So I don't know if we'll see Dormammu. I think it would be cool, but for this first movie where a lot of people are going in not knowing what to expect, I think Dormammu might be overstepping a little bit.
I think it's good to save him for a sequel.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I'm betting we'll get a sequel, because I feel like a lot of people are excited for this movie, probably more so than Ant-Man, maybe a
little bit, but Ant-Man surprised us. So
that's true. Doctor Strange, definitely looking forward to it. Should be fun. Comes out in November as well.
Does it?
Yeah. All right, next up we've got the new Godzilla trailer, which probably a lot of you haven't heard about because it was pretty quiet. I didn't hear too much about it. So before we get into the trailer, I just want us to talk a little bit about our experience with Godzilla. So, Brandon, why don't you go first?
So, as an Asian child, I do not think it was possible for me to grow up without ever like being exposed to Godzilla. And I was a very much of a nerdy kid. I loved anything that dealt with monsters, robots, space, magic, all that stuff. So it was only like natural that I gravitated towards Godzilla because it was a giant monster movie, and I actually really love kaiju movies.
Okay.
So, what was it? I'm trying to remember the first Godzilla I've actually fully seen. Oh, wait, actually I do remember. Even though I've seen bits and pieces of like the Toho Godzilla, so the ones that were made in Japan.
Right.
I think the first actual Godzilla movie I saw from beginning to end was the 1998 one with who was it? Who was in it? I forgot.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick. That's right. So even though that, as a kid, I really liked it because it was still Godzilla. Even though I always had a lot of questions as a kid, like why didn't he use his atomic breath, or like why did he die? Which was stupid. But
You mean she?
Oh yeah, why did she die? Because it was stupid. Yeah, but Godzilla has been one of my childhood like figures growing up because I don't know, he's a giant monster that breathes atomic breath and he destroys everything, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So my experience with Godzilla is, I'd say, about equal, which I'm pretty surprised about because I don't have a lot of Godzilla experience. So funny story. I've never seen any of the Godzilla the Japanese Godzilla movies, even though I owned the original 5 movies on VHS. It was a really cool box set.
That's really cool.
Last summer I was moving into my first apartment, and so I was buying a kitchen table to furnish it. And so I went with my mom and my girlfriend. She was my girlfriend then. She's my fiance now. Whatever. Anyway, so I went with Robin to this estate sale, and so I found this table, and it was cool. And of course, I was looking at the other stuff, and they had this box set there. And so we went to go pay the lady, and I was like, "Oh, hey, how much for the Godzilla movies?" And she was like, "I don't know, $1 a piece, $5." So I was like, "Yeah, that's an awesome deal." So I took it. I still haven't watched any of them.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so I like I said, I've never watched any of the Japanese Godzilla movies. I have watched the 1998 Godzilla, and I watched the most recent Godzilla movie, but that's pretty much it. I've seen some other kaiju movies, like Pacific Rim. I love that movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's so good.
I just know they canceled the apocalypse.
Actually, I think that's the only other kaiju movie I've seen. I mean, there's probably others that you just like don't think of as being kaiju movies that I have seen. Like Jaws is probably like in a loose
if you
sense,
really want to think about it, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I guess you could technically count Cloverfield.
No, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, as far as actual Godzilla, that's about the extent of my experience. My thoughts on the trailer: it looks interesting. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the Godzilla design. He looks a little too lizardy, I guess. Not Godzilla enough, if that makes any sense.
It does.
I like his he looks like he's like on fire under his skin, kind of. He looks like volcanic a little bit, which looks really cool.
Yeah, I think the design said it was supposed to be a mix between like you can see the energy underneath him and also the scarring from the radiation. So it's supposed to be like a good mixture between the two.
Yeah, but there's something on his head is just like really, it's like too round almost.
I think you know what they did? They were like, it's very reminiscent of the original design. Okay. And I think there's because it's a live action thing. It's not CGI.
Right.
I think it's actually a suit that somebody's wearing.
Yeah. That was the next thing I was about to say, is that you can tell, like, even though like there's, even though we're far past where we have the technology to make things look really good, like you can tell there's a guy in a suit stomping on a miniature city, and it's just that really like kitschy, like kind of like, oh, this is so bad that it's funny and fun to watch kind of thing. That's just really weird.
It drew me out of it for a second, but at the same time it kind of brought me back in because it still looks not that bad, but it's still like, because what got me with the other movie, the one that America made, was that it was very reminiscent of the original Godzilla design, but it had like a more modern twist to it. This one is just, I don't know, maybe because you're right about what you said. It was just like, you can tell it's a guy in a suit, but it still looks good. The cinematography was really good.
Yeah. There was no words, probably because they didn't want to dub it in English.
But the Japanese have a different way of doing trailers than we do.
That's true. I want to talk about it just kind of to touch on Godzilla as a whole, not really this movie so much, just because there's not really much to say. I don't think there was a date on it or anything.
No.
Honestly, I probably won't watch it.
I probably won't. It probably won't happen to unless like a group of friends are like, "Hey, you want to watch Godzilla?"
Well, I don't even know if it'll come out in theaters over here. I mean,
Yeah, no, I meant
maybe
more
a few
like
small ones.
yeah, like on DVD. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I like Godzilla movies. I like monster movie kind of things.
I still actually remember like when I went to go see Godzilla, the recent one. And everybody like when he kills the other monster by blowing his fire down the throat.
Spoilers.
And he basically beheads it, and he sort of just roars, and like everybody's like clapping and like yeah.
That was awesome.
Actually, yeah, they clapped at that scene and the scene where like he finally uses his atomic breath, so like his like back starts lighting up, and we're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And that was actually very much like that in the film. I think I like films that like make me be like a kid again. So like, that happens with me. I remember with Age of Ultron, I did that too. So I was like sitting cross-legged in my chair, and the opening scene, I'm like I actually made that noise a bunch of times.
And then it all went downhill from there.
What?
Age of Ultron.
Wait, you didn't like it?
It was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the first one.
I disagree, but that was for another time. I remember I had this.
That is definitely for another time.
I had this conversation with Armando, a very, very lengthy conversation over waffles.
Armando's my roommate, in case anybody cares, which I'm sure you don't. Yeah, so that's Godzilla. So the last movie we have to talk about, or movie trailer we have to talk about, I should say, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
I did not see the first one.
I have seen the first one. So I guess, before we get to the new stuff, I guess I'll talk about that really quickly. The new TMNT, the Michael Bay one, I know he was not the director, just the producer, but I'm going to call it that anyway. New TMNT movie was, so I watched this movie when I was flying to Spain last summer. And so, I had a bunch of movie options, and they have this really cool documentary about the history of the comic books.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I watched that. So that was really interesting. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll give TMNT a try. It was not great, but it was a little bit better than I was expecting, actually. They totally butchered the backstory that they have, their real backstory. They give them,
what is in the film?
All right, so it's a little spoiler, but whatever. I don't think anybody cares. So they grow up in this laboratory where they make the ooze, and April's dad ran the lab, and then he found out that he was working with Shredder, and he found out that Shredder was doing something evil, and so then Shredder killed him and set the lab on fire. April was there. She freed the turtles because she was friends with them and fed them pizza. And then they got in the sewer, and that's when they met Splinter, I think. Maybe the last part is a little fuzzy. I don't forget if he was there with them, but yeah, that's nothing how it is in the real cartoon, or the comics, I guess. And so that was dumb, but other than that, it was passable.
Nothing like extraordinary, but it was just like it was a summer movie.
Right. My favorite TMNT movie is TMNT, the animated one. Have you ever seen it?
I did, actually.
Oh my gosh,
I
freaking love that movie.
Was really
it is
good.
So good. I cannot speak.
The only thing I didn't like about it, and this is nothing about production. It's just because it didn't have Shredder in it.
Yeah.
But that's just like whatever. He wasn't important to the storyline. It was a really good movie.
Yeah, man, I love that movie so much. Before we talk about the trailer, most important question: who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
My favorite Ninja Turtle. This has been something I've always debated about myself. Because it used to be Raphael. Mostly because like red was my favorite color, and he was more. But I think my favorite turtle is I think it'd still be Raphael.
All right.
Mostly because like you can see like how I think he struggles the most as a turtle, because he's always like working on his temper, and he doesn't take orders the best. But when he does, he's a very like efficient member of the team. I don't know. I just love Raphael. And his weapons are really cool, too. His size.
Yeah.
By the way, he still won between Electro.
Wait, I argued for him.
I know. I'm giving you a pass on this because you got engaged. It's my engagement present to you.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, my favorite turtle is Leonardo.
You're so basic.
You know what? I don't understand the hate on Leo.
Goody two shoes.
So what? Who cares? He's a fearless leader. He's blue, which is the best color.
Oh my gosh.
He has swords, which are the best weapons.
Okay. Even though he broke them multiple times.
So?
Like in TMNT?
Yeah.
Yeah, Raphael broke them.
So?
Just saying.
Yeah, and then who won that fight? Nobody, because the weird alien thing interrupted them. So it's a draw.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, I like Leo. He's my man, and I will never change my mind on that. Anyway,
okay, so let's talk about
if you want to tell us who your favorite Ninja Turtle is, you can email us abcpodcast92@gmail.com or tweet us. But anyway, let's talk about Out of the Shadows.
Okay.
So, did you see the first trailer?
I did actually.
Okay, all right, good. Making sure we're on the same page here. What did you think?
I thought it was kind of like my same reaction when I first saw the first trailer for the first movie. It was like, okay, they're gonna make another Ninja Turtles movie. It's basically gonna follow the same formula. Now they have like aliens in this one. They have
They have an alien.
no, what's all that stuff coming down then?
I don't know.
I assume, okay, whatever. They have the two mutants, the classic ones. I forgot their name.
Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah, I remember Bebop. I always forgot Rocksteady, which I was excited about because
Me too.
we were going classic with those two characters.
Yep.
We have Dr. Stockman, played by Tyler Perry, which I thought was a very strange choice.
Wait, that's him?
That's him.
They don't say that in the trailer.
No, it's him.
That's weird.
That's why I said, like, he's going to mutate into Medea. But overall, I thought it was a fun trailer. And I think this is just going to be, like, again, a summer movie, just like a popcorn flick.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited that they have Shredder here.
Yeah.
Without his Megatron mech suit.
I like that part of the movie.
I
thought it was pretty cool.
I actually like the suit.
Okay.
I actually like the suit.
All right.
But you have to admit, it kind of looked like Megatron.
Yeah. So what?
But I was happy with it. It was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
And actually, it made sense from a story kind of point of view because like the foot always comes up with new technology, so it made sense that Shredder was tried out. So overall, I thought it was a fun trailer. I'm not expecting anything amazing from it. I think it might be with the classic like Michael Bay humor with Megan Fox, Will Arnett, and now we have Arrow in it too.
Oh yeah.
What's your take?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I like Bebop and Rocksteady coming back. I know Krang was only in like a half second of it, and it was really Krang's like suit, not Krang himself. We still haven't heard him talk, and I will be really disappointed if he doesn't talk in the movie because that would be a really wasted opportunity, I think. Because I've actually, before I started watching Supergirl to try and catch up on that, I was getting back into watching TMNT, and so I talked before about the job that I had before this one where I got to watch cartoons all day, and so when it was time for me to leave that job, I was in the middle of watching TMNT, so I took a long break from that just because I was watching other things, but I wanted to get back into that and finish watching it. So I was watching TMNT, and Krang is like such a huge part of the original cartoon, and he really has never come back at all. He wasn't in the old movies, I don't think, right? I'm pretty sure he wasn't in the old movies. I don't think he's like in the newer versions of the cartoon. The cartoons. Yeah, so Krang is really cool, and I think they need to utilize him more, and so I'm interested to see where they go with that. What else? Do you have high hopes for the movie? No, not at all.
Good.
Yeah, I think it'll just be one of those things where I'll watch it eventually, but like way down the line. I'm definitely not going to spend my money on seeing this. I do like that Casey Jones is going to be in it. I think Casey's he's a cool customer. I think their casting choice, Stephen Amell, I think that's really good.
I thought it was kind of random.
I mean, he's basically like the Arrow, but
with a hockey stick.
Yeah, and a lot less serious, So I think that should be an interesting character for him to play. I like the part in the trailer when Rocksteady, he like gets down on all fours and he's like running, like charging down the cars. I feel like this is the scene from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 that we all wanted that we didn't
But
get.
I was gonna say they did it better. I also, you know what I actually really liked and say when he was in the tank. And I think they were in a river or something, and like he fires. I don't know. It reminded me of a scene from like the. Did you ever play the original arcade game of the Ninja Turtles?
A long time ago.
I remember like in Chuck E. Cheese they had it, and I feel like I was like that would be something in that game. And I'm just like, again, it's nothing like amazing like cinematic wise, but it was just a fun little thing to have in there. I honestly don't know. I mean, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this, in both good ways and bad ways.
That's what mixed feelings means. So
shut up, Alex.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles should be a pretty interesting watch, but like I said, I'm probably not going to see it in theaters. Oh, I remember I was going to talk about the whole them trying to turn into humans aspect is weird. I don't like it.
I mean, it does kind of make sense because like I know that's one thing they always like kind of struggle with is like they want to be normal but they can't be normal. I do think it's kind of weird though because like they always like talk about how they love being turtles though.
Right, because so in the original cartoons, Shredder was a human and he turned into a rat. But the turtles were always turtles.
Shredder wasn't human.
And sorry, I'm not Shredder. Splinter. I'm sorry. And so there's in like the first season of the cartoon, Shredder is always talking about how he wants to be human again. But they kind of
Shredder.
Splinter. Dang it.
Sorry.
Hey, at least you're here to tell me, and I don't have to
We have
listen
to go
back to this.
Let's do it again. I know, right? No, you would go back to each and every single point he said, Shredder, Splinter, and we would have to like.
Anyway, so Splinter wants to become human again, but they kind of there's one episode where he turns back into a human, and then he realizes that he's better off being a rat, so he can take care of the turtles. And they kind of don't really come back to that, and so the turtles never really express the desire to be human. The desire to fit in, yes, but they have their trench coats and their little masks, and I think it's funny when they do that.
Yeah.
So I don't. Again, like there's not a lot of it in the trailer. Like there's obviously more going on, and they're obviously not going to turn into humans because if they did, like everyone would be angry about that. So I just think that's. I just wish they would not go there with that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it gives a new like kind of internal conflict for them to try out. So I actually like it.
All right.
I hope it doesn't go to that because it'd be really weird to see them as humans.
Yeah. I
always hate that whenever like in cartoons they turn non-human characters into humans. I know for like one Transformer animated series they did that, and Optimus was human for a little bit. I was like, this is so weird.
Oh, or in Gargoyles that happened when Goliath turned into human.
That was
weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep. Yeah. TMNT, love it or hate it, it's gonna happen.
You think maybe Transformers are gonna cross over?
Oh my gosh! You know what? Why not? They could be like, you're not actually turtles from Earth. You're an alien species of turtles.
Or because like it doesn't in the fourth one like humans have turned against the Autobots.
I didn't see the fourth one.
I just think this is what happens. So then the Ninja Turtles can go help the Autobots fight humanity and clear their names.
Why not? At this point, nothing is off limits.
True. Oh, the Showmobile, whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, the Turtle Van.
I think there's a name for it.
It's the Turtle Van.
I think there's another name for it. Anyways, whatever. It could be a Transformer. Turtleception.
Oh, actually, now I want that to happen.
I know, right?
All right, so those are all the trailers we have to talk about, and those are the main topics we have to cover this week. So let's move into our fanfic fight segment, or the Kevin segment. Yay, Kevin!
He's got such a huge head on him now.
Oh, does he listen to this?
Not all the way through, but I tell him about it. He's like, you did the right choice calling it the Kevin segment. I was like, shut up, man.
All right, So if Brandon will get off his phone,
Shush.
we can
Just continue. Keep going.
All right. So fanfic fights. If you don't know what that is, I have two characters who are sort of similar in fighting styles, and I'm going to tell them. Brandon's going to pick one to argue for. I'll pick the other one. We'll both lay our points about which character would win, and then you tell us who you thought won the argument.
Okay,
so
let's go.
Our characters for this week are Vision and the Martian Manhunter.
Nice.
Now,
I have trained for this all the time with Kevin.
Martian Manhunter came to mind because, spoiler alert, he is on Supergirl. I just got to the episode where he reveals that he is the Martian Manhunter to Kara's foster sister.
Mm-hmm.
He looks pretty cool.
I was gonna say, like, what do you think about him? So, because I mean, obviously he was only made an appearance, but like, do you like how he looks like?
I like his Martian form. He looks pretty cool, very intimidating. I've watched one episode after that one, and now he has like his telepathy powers, but he doesn't do a lot with it.
Yeah.
So
plot holes.
Yeah.
Or plot armor.
Yeah. Whatever. But yeah, just in terms of his Martian form looking, it looks pretty cool, I have to say. So, Brandon, I picked last time, so I will let you pick who you want to argue for.
Yay. I am going to go with Martian Manhunter.
Of course you are.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I figured that's what you were going to pick.
Whatever.
I know you like Martian Manhunter.
I like Vision, too.
Vision's cool.
Alright. So who wants to go first?
Nose
goes.
Okay. Brandon beat me in nose goes, so I guess me go first. So, Vision and Martian Manhunter are very equally matched. They both have laser vision. They both have density shifting powers. Martian Manhunter has the telepathy, and he has telekinesis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has those Jean Grey powers.
Power of the mind.
Yeah. He has that going for him, but the Vision doesn't have a brain, so I don't think he could really use that in any meaningful way against him.
We're doing Vision from the comics, right?
Right.
Not MCU. Okay.
Right.
So no mind gem.
Right.
Okay.
So I think where Vision has Martian Manhunter beat is that he is an android or synthezoid. So he doesn't feel pain because he's a robot. He can rebuild himself if he gets destroyed, and he has no like internal he doesn't have any like organs to be hurt, whereas the Martian Manhunter does. So all Vision has to do is get up next to him and give him a little kidney squeeze, and Martian Manhunter is down for the count. Yeah. So that's why Vision would beat Martian Manhunter in a fight.
Oh, in case you were wondering about the whole kidney squeeze thing, so as you know, Alex is a big fan of Earth's Mightiest Hero, the Avengers. I mean, the Marvel cartoon. Yep. And there's a scene where they first introduced Vision, and he's fighting Captain America, and Vision phases through Captain America in his side, and it shows like obviously it hurts because you got something shipped into you. And I don't know, I was talking to Alex, like, what if he's just like messing around with the kidneys, and then like he mentioned like a kidney squeeze, he just goes reaches in, he gets a little and like, he squeezes it. I was like, oh, that's nasty. Makes Captain America pee himself a little bit in the middle of the fight. So you brought up a very good, compelling argument. They are both very equally matched. But I have to say Martian Manhunter, he wins this one. Because even though he doesn't have... Okay, we'll go with the organ part. Even though Vision doesn't have it, he has internal components that he could get messed up. Now, granted, you can make the argument that, Martian Manhunter and Vision will just have like a phasing battle and just go... But Martian Manhunter, he is very experienced with different forms of like combat, both physical and mental.
Right.
Yes, he also has the laser vision. He can shift his density so he can make himself more dense, or I don't know what's the opposite of dense. Passable? All he has to do pretty much is like if Vision goes in to give him a kidney squeeze, he can just like do the same thing and he can just pass right through him. and not to mention his shape-shifting things. And I don't know off the top of my head if like Vision has any like weaknesses, but obviously he's an android, so I'm assuming he can be like hurt by short-circuiting his stuff.
Okay.
I'm assuming that. Now with the brain thing. Now, I've heard some different things, depending on which form of vision this is. Now, what we're doing from the movie, I would always say, like, he has, like, some neural components, because Scarlet Witch was able to read him. Now, with the comic book ones, it depends on which form of vision we're doing. Because, as you know, like, he does try to make himself more human, or, like, more human-like with his later models.
Okay.
And not to mention that, like, I doubt, like, it takes some time to, like, at least, like, become the phase, so Martian Manhunter could just like stretch and slap him in the face, or use his tentacle fingers. Remember those?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Martian Manhunter has like a whole like bigger array of like powers at his disposal, and he's a lot more creative, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe, but we made our arguments. But ultimately, it's not up to us; it's up to the listeners. Maybe one day one of them will actually tell us who they thought won one of these fights.
Maybe, we'll see.
But speaking of listener emails, we have our listener email.
Yay!
So the email reads as follows. Longtime listener, first time writer in. There has been some hype on the web about Netflix picking up Young Justice for a third season. Do you guys think they would be able to pull it off? Would you even want them to? Also, any pitches or ideas for a season-long story arc? Thanks for the show. And he didn't sign it, but I'll go ahead and give him a shout-out. This is from my good friend from high school, Bruno. Thanks for listening, Bruno. I didn't even know you listened, but I'm really happy you're enjoying the show, and we're happy that you're happy. So, Brandon, what do you think about Young Justice Season 3 on Netflix?
I would actually really love to have that, because Cartoon Network cut it off, and I'm still very salty about that. That being said, I feel like Netflix has become a source for a lot of developers and creative teams to go, and it gives them a lot more freedom to do things. So they're not like weighed down by like viewers or toy sales or anything like that. Now, to do with season 3, I would totally love to see that, because they left season 2 off of like a humongous cliffhanger.
Yeah,
with Darkseid.
That too. I was gonna say the part where that one guy dies, and I won't say who, but it's a.
You know, that was actually sad.
Oh my gosh, I was heartbroken.
That was sad about that. I was like, why would you do this? But no, I mean, if Netflix picks it up, I totally do. I think, isn't there a petition right now doing that? Or
there's a million Young Justice petitions. Yeah. Everybody wants Young Justice to come back.
Because it was such a good show.
Yeah,
probably like on par with the Justice League animated show, maybe even better than that one.
I would say it's better than Justice League. My thoughts on Young Justice Season 3, I definitely, obviously want more Young Justice, but I want it to be done right. Now, I think that Netflix has the capability to do it right, but I'm not 100% confident in saying that it would be done right. I think if they brought in, the same writers, the same people, basically the people who are in charge of making it awesome, then I think that it definitely could be as good as the original 2 seasons. The animation style, I like the way it looked, but if they changed it up because they couldn't get the same people to work on it, I wouldn't care about that. What I really care about is the characters, the story. I want everything to just be as epic as it was before. Yeah. And just to keep going with that.
Speaking of animations, do you watch Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, I love Teen Titans Go.
Did you ever see when Young Justice came into Teen Titans Go?
No.
It was so funny because Calder was there, Superboy was there, and Megan was there. And they were like, they just like totally impressed the Teen Titans. They were like, "Whoa, we want to be like you guys." And Calder was like, "No, you can't because you're too childish, and you have to look serious." And basically what they did was like, they put the Young Justice animation in there, but like they're still like short and stocky, but they look like really serious and like overly detailed. So the Teen Titans did that, and they tried to make themselves more serious and dramatic, but they just turned out looking really gross because they were like so detailed. Oh my gosh, it was really funny.
That's awesome. So, what do you think about his question for what you think would be a good story arc?
A good story arc. Well, I mean, I think off the first bat it would probably be like to go with the dark side thing they were going with.
Sure.
But I always feel like if you're going to do somebody that big and epic, to do like maybe like a second part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So from there on, I'm technically like they could do anything they wanted because they encompass the entire DC universe.
Right.
So they could follow any story arc. The first one, I always forget what the first one was. What was the first story arc in season 1?
It was Lex Luthor doing nefarious things.
Oh yeah, that's it. And then season 2 was The Reach.
Right.
Season 3, I don't even know. They could. I honestly do not know. They have so much to do, and because like every couple of episodes, like they touch upon, different characters and like they go to like their locations, universes. So really, the entire universe is their playground, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they have, just as long as they include Darkseid at the second half of season 3, I'm totally for it.
All right.
What about you?
Right on. Gosh, yeah, like you said, I mean they could go pretty much anywhere. I would want them to go somewhere original, I guess, not do like a story arc from the comic books.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think.
Oh, before I just want to say one last thing. I want Black Manta to come back. He was such a good character.
Yeah.
And you know what's really surprised me? He was one of the better dads or like parent figures. He was a villain, but he was like a really good dad. Even though he like killed people and like tried to conquer a kingdom.
Like Darth Vader.
Yes. Pretty much. And he brought his son to the dark side.
That's true.
Oh crap, I didn't think about that. You know what was surprising me about Black Manta? That I found out he was human and that he was actually black. And then I was reading from the comics about like, and this is the old comic when he first took off his helmet.
Uh-huh.
He's like, Aquaman was like, "Oh my gosh, you're human," and then Manta was like, "Yeah, why do you think I call myself Black Manta?" And I was like, "Okay." Anyways, back to you.
Let's see. All right, so this is like totally off the wall, and I doubt we would get this in Young Justice, let alone like any form of DC animation. But in Injustice, the video game, they introduce Scorpion into the game.
Oh my gosh.
He's about to do a fatality on Sub-Zero, and then all of a sudden, no explanation, he's teleported into a fight with whatever character he's about to fight in the Injustice universe. So I want to see a Mortal Kombat in Young Justice crossover story arc. All right, Brandon is smiling, but he's shaking his head, so I don't know what that means. But just think about how freaking amazing that would be, because we know that Netflix does not shy away from being gory. It's a cartoon, but I want to see people's heads get cut off. I want to see fatalities. That would just be so cool.
Okay.
I'm picturing.
I'm not fighting against it. I'm
picturing Lex Luthor in his mecha suit fighting Sector. I'm picturing Scorpion fighting what's his name? Firestorm. I'm picturing the Sub-Zero fighting
Killer Frost.
Yeah, Killer Frost. Oh man, there's just so many like awesome fights that they could do. Yes. So that's my answer. I want Mortal Kombat versus Young Justice. Or really just DC universe. In the Young Justice
I don't hate the
style.
idea. It will be my first idea, but I don't hate the idea.
Well, Bruno put me on the spot. So.
Oh, thanks, Bruno. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. So again, if
you talk about like he said earlier on that this might be one of the shorter podcasts. We're still almost at 10 minutes. I mean not 10 minutes, 2 hours. Damn it, we're 10 minutes from 2 hours.
Are you saying you want to try and beat our record?
I don't know, because I actually have fun making like 2 hour podcasts.
I do too.
I have too. So I am not complaining.
Okay, well, I don't know what else to talk about.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay, well, I actually do have one more thing. Actually, 2 more things.
Of course you would. Go for it.
Okay, so Brandon and I have been floating this idea around for a while, and we're finally going to implement this new segment. I don't have a catchy name for it, sadly. I was trying to come up with ones, but the one that I kind of liked was pretty lame. So I don't have a good name for this segment yet. But basically, what we want to do is like a movie watching club. So I have a movie in mind. I'm gonna watch it. Brandon's gonna watch it. We encourage all of you to watch it and tell us what you think about it.
That'd be cool.
And so the movie that I've picked for this week is The Evil Dead.
Now, realistically, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch this.
Why not?
I don't have time.
We talked about this. You told me you could do it.
I thought maybe I don't know.
It's like an hour and a half long.
I will try. I will try.
I will break Brandon's leg if I have to, so that he has to sit in bed all day and watch the movie. It's gonna happen.
You think that's gonna stop me? I almost destroyed my legs one time from working out too much. I fell in the streets, and I still made it to school.
Anyway, so The Evil Dead, I've never seen before, but I've been meaning to watch it for a while. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that it has Bruce Campbell in it.
Oh, really?
Yep, he's the main character, and so I really like Bruce Campbell, so I'm down for that. I know that it has a big cult following.
Those are the best.
Yeah, so clearly a lot of people like it, so that should mean that I'll like it, hopefully. And I know that there's a new show starring Bruce Campbell about The Evil Dead on TV now, and I know it's about zombies. So it sounds like a good recipe for a movie to me, and I've been meaning to watch this movie for a while so that I could start watching the show. So I just figured that if I said on here that we're going to talk about it next week, that would actually motivate me to finally watch it. And so that's what I'm doing. So the movie's called The Evil Dead. If you don't own this movie, and I'm pretty sure it's not on Netflix, and you don't have any way of watching this movie otherwise, you can email me or DM me on Twitter, and I will send you a link. But I don't want to put that out there publicly because that just sounds like a bad idea.
You kind of just did.
No, I didn't.
Kind of whatever.
Anyway, yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at AtariAlex. You can follow Brandon on Twitter at Mexicuico
Is that how you pronounce it?
Close enough for me.
Yeah, true. You have better pronunciation than I do.
And you can email us anything you want to talk about for the show, abcpodcast92@gmail.com.
We're actually really happy about this email, and you have no idea how excited we got. And I don't know, I just like hearing like the questions from the viewers. So
yeah,
it gives us more thing to talk about. Like I didn't even think about like the story arc for season 3. If we got Young Justice season 3, I didn't even think about that.
Me neither. So that's all we have for this week. I think it was a pretty good episode.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do for next week.
Yeah. So that's all we have for this week. It was really fun, like we already said. And we will see you again next week, and we'll talk about movies and comic books and video games and TV and
all that nice jazz.
Yep. All of the good things that we talk about here.
We need to find a good way to end these segments.
Yeah, I know. Okay, goodbye. We suck at stopping things. I'm doing it. Oh. Okay, that's it.